Hello, I'm Carolyn Dare and I'll be joining Mike in this MOOC to bring you our experience and the work that we've been doing for the last 7 years in the arena of learning transfer. Now, we've been working in that area for about 7 years now, and it came about really from a group of like-minded professionals just feeling a little bit frustrated with the work that we were doing, and we just weren't seeing the expected performance results in the organisations we were working with. That came after I had spent about 30 years working in learning and development for large organisations, organising international events, also as a trainer in change management. I had run a number of leadership programmes all over Europe, with banks through to engineering companies, through to aerospace, so a wide range of different organisations. I'd also worked a lot with the university and business school community. We ran several long-term projects on managing university communities. And what we saw all the time was that although we shifted the individual, and there were some amazing programs where it really was life-changing for that individual, although we shifted the individual, when they went back to the organisation, they maybe had a slight impact on their team, but the organisational effectiveness did not change. So performance across the organisation, even though we had trained hundreds of their leaders, just did not change. And if there was a change within the organisation, a restructuring or a new CEO, sometimes that could actually lead to the culture becoming more toxic. So what we were doing was not really sustaining those who had been on the training to somehow have the resilience, I guess you would call it, have the resilience to continue to implement the learning. That coincided with us meeting Professor Ed Holton, kind of by accident, but these things happen in life. And he'd been doing a lot of research for about 30 years on what were the barriers and enablers that prevented or enabled people to transfer their learning. So he'd looked at hundreds and hundreds of factors and narrowed it down to about 16, and then had created a tool around the 16 behaviours and what it was that organisations and groups needed to do if they were to effectively apply the learning in their organisation. So we've been working with his suite of tools. We've now gone a step further from there, and we're actually looking at what are the barriers within the individual as well. But what we'd like to present to you in this MOOC is based on the research that's been done by Ed and by others on what is it that we can do to support individuals, teams and organisations to stop wasting this massive amount of money that's invested in training to actually becoming more effective and sustaining learning within those environments. There's quite a close parallel with change management as well. All of the initiatives that I was involved in, and the research clearly shows that 70% of most change initiatives actually fail to ever reach the sought for business result. Now, in learning transfer, our research shows that there's 10 to 30% are only ever applied. So it's very similar statistics. And the research in change initiatives shows that it's actually, a lot of it is down to people. So it's down to resistance, it's down to people not buying into it or reverting to previous behaviours. So in this work, we're hoping to actually make a difference so that we can change that system to enable and support people to implement their learning and thus get to the change that they so desire. Welcome to our MOOC.